We haven't had a Scream movie in roughly around 11 years, and where the original is an absolute classic and almost perfect, and Scream 4 is actually underrated. Where does this film fit in between? Let's talk about it.
There's certain rules to surviving.
I've seen this movie before.
Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing good and having a good day. Welcome back, or welcome to the channel. If you go on to enjoy this video, please leave a like. It lets me know that you enjoy the videos, and subscribe if you want to see more. And it means a lot to me personally. If you subscribe and go on to dislike future content, you can always unsubscribe. It's totally free, so don't worry about it. So, new Scream 5, following the annoying little trend set by Halloween 2018 with just calling itself the original. Fuck you, Halloween. So, does this film provide the great sequel that Halloween 2018 did? No.
I'll be right back.
So, we're going to start off just talking about the characters, and we'll build up to my overall opinion. The main three characters are back, and they're great. There's no way they can't be unless they write them into just assholes or something like that. Yeah, they're great. They're acted perfectly, as they always have been, and they're written really well. And I really like, actually, how they're incorporated and how they join this new story. And there was one moment with one character that genuinely upset me, and it was one of the best scenes in the movie, without a doubt. Dewey dies.
No! No!
Actually, yeah.
Oh, God! Oh, God!
It was a phenomenal scene. One of my favourite scenes in the movie. It was built up to really well and executed brutally, which is something else I will say later on. The brutality in this film is more than I expected, actually. But no, and me and my friends all looked at each other, were like, what the fuck? And those of us who loved Scream already were just going through the motions. They also bring back Billy Loomis in a surprising way, but it's a fun way, and it works. I mean, it doesn't make too much sense as to why Sam sees him as the old Skeet Ulrich, because he died when he was younger, but it's fine. It's just one of those things. I don't think this film would have had the budget to successfully de-age him with CGI. But yes, Sam, the new main character, is the daughter of Billy Loomis. It's cool. It's cool. It's an obvious thing to do, but it's cool, it's interesting, it's fun, and it works. And as characters, Sam and Tara, I forget, but they're solid. Not great though. Unfortunately, I just didn't buy Melissa Barrera as Sam. Or Barrera, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Her relationship with her sister is executed really well though, and when they're together, they perform together pretty well, even if it did feel a bit forced at times. But I just personally don't buy a performance as Sam. I can't really explain it. I just didn't feel much emotion from her in this film. Maybe towards the end I did, I think, when she kills, is it Richie? She kills Richie, right? Yeah. But the rest of the characters are fine at best, which sucks to say, and they're carried by the actors, which are all pretty good. You can't really say otherwise. I like Wes. We see him and with his mum, and Dylan Minnette again is a really good actor in my opinion. He does a lot of the same stuff admittedly in the roles he plays, but he does it well, and there are different things in each performance, and I like that, and I like him as an actor, and he is very likable in this film again. And the rest of the cast are acted well, except Jack Quaid deserves a special shout because he's fucking great. He's probably the best actor outside of the original three, if not up there with them in this film. In my opinion, I think he was so fucking good. Obviously, he was great in The Boys. I feel like we should have had more time with the new group to get invested in them. There are a few scenes, and in every scene, they're just accusing each other. But I feel like we should have had more time with the new group as a whole. Maybe even just if there was a smaller group, that'd help. I don't know. But there just isn't enough time to make me feel like, oh no, and actually worry when one of them's gonna die. I just don't overly care. I only felt that with the original trio, which multiple times I did feel like, and obviously one of them ended up going all the way, but I don't want to talk about it. But I just didn't really get invested in this new young group. One of the reasons I struggled to care was because some of the dialogue in the original, the five of them joke about accusing each other, and it's very clearly a joke, and that's something me and my mates would do in this day and age because we're fucked up. But in this film, they outright accuse each other. There is no jokey feel about it, and it comes off as awkward and kind of weird. And there was a very forced meta scene in particular about reboot calls, I think they're being called. You know, I don't know, but I'm just going to call them that right now. or legacy sequels. I don't know, I don't care. And it's some fun commentary. This whole film provides some good commentary. That's one of the best aspects of it, but that dialogue didn't feel real at all. It was like, hey guys, we're Scream. And a lot of the dialogue between those characters just don't feel great as it is, and it can kind of take you out of a scene, and that it struggles to make you buy into them, despite the performances all being very likable and unique in their own ways, which I did like, but none of them was memorable. I remember going through, after a while, I forgot Chad was in the film, and the actor for Chad does a lot, and he's really good, but, you know, I'm not invested, you know, and that leads them to the actors carrying them. But at the same time, I feel like the film actually knows that, which leads me on to the next topic.
The killer is a part of something in the past.
Scream is largely popular for its commentary on movies, and particularly the horror franchise, and now we have stuff like the new Star Wars trilogy and other franchises that do what Scream is now jumping on and doing, setting up new characters while rounding off the old ones. Halloween is doing this right now, and Star Wars has done that fucking shittily, but we won't talk about The Rise of Skywalker. And whilst I have problems with this movie, it is much better than the way Star Wars does it in particular, I'd say. Maybe I partially let it slide because it's self-aware, and so Scream does get away with a bit more because it is self-aware about its own problems. But it kind of does them on purpose and plays into the tropes on purpose, and wants us to know that rather than lazily falling into the tropes, if that makes sense. One of the ways it tackles how people generally care more about the legacy characters. When you go to these movies, you are pumped to see these old characters that you love. And this film knows that, and it shows that by killing pretty much all of the new characters. They're there to be killed, and that's why I'm mixed on their characterization. You know, I'm not invested and I don't care necessarily, but I feel like they're there to be killed. So, I mean, we don't get too attached, and that's frustrating because there could have been a lot of really great moments if I was more attached, but it just kills most of the characters, so I don't know. Also though, a part of the commentary, something I found fucking hilarious and I didn't actually clock the first time. This film directly just addresses The Last Jedi, and it's so funny, but it's saying Rian Johnson made Stab 8 and everyone hated it. You see what they did there? Even though The Last Jedi was really good, and I will defend it till the end of time. And it makes a real commentary on toxic fans, which is great to see because I can't stand them. And it presents the commentary really well in my opinion.
Hello, Sydney. It's an honor.
The story is fun. I can't deny that. It's very similar to the original, and there's actually a reason for that. So the killers are Amber and Richie. Amber was kind of obvious from the opening sequence, but Richie is the obvious other guess, but the film works so hard to get you off his back that it ends up being a genuinely shocking reveal. Like, he even says, Dewey guessed it first try. He did, so did we, and you threw us off, you know? Like, shit. The one thing I don't like though, I like the reveal, I don't mind them being the killers, but how Amber and Richie are shown to be an item, and that's just fucking weird, and I kind of hate that. But as a killer reveal, it was pretty good actually, and that's where Jack Quaid's performance takes a turn, and it's fucking crazy. Mega Stew vibes, I'm not gonna lie, in the best. That's a great compliment. But the reason that the film had been so close to the original was actually because they're recreating the original Stab, because Stab recreated the Scream movies in the Scream world, and they're recreating the original Stab so that they can make Stab 9 like the original, if that makes sense. They're just a pair of toxic fans that want their movies to be good. It is crazy, it's funny for sure, but I think that's intentional. And there is a line between the similarities between this and the original, and I think sometimes it crosses it, sometimes it plays too close to the original. It's like, we kind of laughed about it at first. We're like, oh, they're Redditors and they met, and that's so dumb. But like, the original was actually the same, but obviously they didn't have Reddit and stuff. But Stu and Billy just watching way too many movies and being kind of crazy. It's the same thing, but updated. And I'm okay with that. I think it works. I think it's funny. I think it's weird. And honestly, unfortunately, kind of realistic. And that scene I was on about earlier that felt very forced and stuff. It makes sense to be there. The obligatory Scream scene talking about the rules. But me and my girlfriend, who isn't even a massive Scream fan, by the way, she's only seen the first one. But like, we were both like, fuck's sake, because it was a massive dump, and I wouldn't mind if the dialogue wasn't so janky, like it really is. And that just made it feel like the obligatory Scream scene, and it didn't happen organic. Like I said, it makes sense to be there. That's where Dewey accuses Richie, but it just doesn't happen organically throughout, if that makes sense, and it's kind of weird and frustrating. And as I mentioned in the character section, I just don't buy this group. I'm not invested, and I don't really see them as a group of friends. We don't really get much time to buy that. And like, there's a scene at the end, and this is about when I was saying like how they accuse each other seriously, and one of the last examples of that was Chad and his girlfriend are making out at the end, and he says no to sex, and he's like, sorry, you could be the killer. And it's so funny, but she's the one person who had a genuine reaction to that, just being fucking pissed off that one of the people closest to you is not sure, is like, oh, you could be running around killing people, you know. You'd be pissed at that. You wouldn't just sit there and take it. He says it in the worst place as well. It's so funny. I think it's meant to be. Maybe, I actually can't tell. This is the way they should have done it throughout. Like, if they wanted them to be accusing each other seriously. Like, the other times it was just like, okay, look, you're forcing this in here. But this scene, it just made me laugh, for better or for worse. Like, the only other thing I can buy when they're accusing each other is when Dewey accuses Richie and stuff, because he doesn't know them, it doesn't matter, and also because he's been there before. But with the new group doing it in such a serious manner and feeling not like a joke, it's weird and jarring, and it doesn't really work for me. There is a slight irony to this film that I think is intentional. With its commentary on toxic fandom and looking at The Last Jedi in particular, in the same way The Last Jedi subverted people's expectations and they hated it, this film also does that in a good way. Tara isn't the first victim, she fucking survives, which is new for the Scream movies. That's cool. I think that's a really cool thing to do. And then Richie, of course, it's a high-end suspect because he's the boyfriend and he's in all the right positions. But they subvert us when it actually is him. Yeah, we did that. We did the obvious. Fuck you. And so the film knows our expectations and uses that against us. And it adds a freshness that was needed.
Would you like to play a game, Tara?
Scream 5 ain't great. I think Scream is pretty much a masterpiece and Scream 4 is really good. And Scream 5 is pretty good, you know. It's not bad, and definitely not the worst, but at worst, I think it's a fun time. Something's always happening, it's a pretty breakneck pace, actually, and the kills are fucking cool. Some of the best, if not the best in the series. Some really brutal effects, and I really enjoyed them. And there were some genuinely creepy scenes. I think the hospital one was probably the best. I think the biggest problem is probably the writing within the new group. There's a lot of fun stuff throughout, but just, I wasn't invested in this new group, and I want to be more invested in this new trilogy, or what is likely to become a trilogy. Scream 6 has already been mentioned, and this has already earned what it had to, I believe. But I'm down, you know, this wasn't bad, it's a promising start, it has potential, so. And I'm excited to see where the filmmakers take it, because I do like these filmmakers. They did Ready or Not, which is so fun. It was so much more on the comedy side, and this was a bit more serious, actually, but I do trust them, to be fair, and I was very mixed in it, and I'm still not. This probably comes third in my favorite Scream movies. I think Scream 4 was probably better, actually, and Scream is obviously the top, but yeah, I just generally think it was a disappointment because I really didn't care as much as I wanted to, but it was fun at worst, and there were parts I did care about, and overall I think it is a good time. But let me know what you guys thought of Scream 2022. Did you enjoy it? Do you agree with me, or do you disagree, or just let me know. I always enjoy seeing what you think, and let me know what you think of my opinions as well. Just please don't be a dick about it, because I'll cry. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys for the next one. Take care. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you did enjoy. I just wanted to put this little note at the end of the video, because I think after this one, I'm going to change things up a bit. There's been something bugging me about my videos for a while now, and I think I've kind of figured out what it is. I'm constantly reading off a script, and it's obvious in my videos, and I've stuck with this one because I wanted to get this out. I wanted to get a video about Scream out, and I have my next video planned, and I'm working on it already. but I just think I'm going to change up the general style and try and make it a bit more engaging for you guys, because I can understand it can come off quite flat with my videos how they are, with me just basically just being a video essay, and hopefully I can just make them a bit more fun, a bit more going on in my videos as opposed to just me talking. But yeah, hopefully that goes well. I'll have to see. But and it could take a while to also perfect what I want to do. But yeah, thank you guys, and I'll catch you in that next one.